Hi, welcome back to Waxing On Friday. And today we're looking at one of the king of the blues. It's B.B. King. And one of those discount bin finds. I think this came from I guess the thrift shop. Just one of those gems that were sitting there waiting to be picked up. This is called The Best of B.B. King, and it's on MCA Records. And, I mean, B.B.'s a legend, no doubt. A great album with anything he plays on, but on this one, he's got some extra special sidemen that really made it fun for me, because these are guys we've talked about on the show before. They're guys I listen to, well familiar with them, and boy, was it a treat to see them on the album playing with B.B. King. Now, this one was recorded in a number of different locations, which I don't have a lot of information on, but it would give me the idea that it's probably, again, a bit of a compilation here. Some of the players change, some of them stay the same. We'll cover those in just a second. Let's just take a look at the tunes we're doing on here. Yeah, 9 tunes. First one, Hummingbird by Leon Russell. Now, we've talked about Leon before. We're going to go back to him in a minute. We've got How Blue Can You Get with Jane and Leonard Feather. Caledonia by F. Moore. B.B. King doing Sweet 16. Jerry Regavoy, Ain't Nobody Home. Why I Sing the Blues by B.B. King and Dave Clark. The Thrill Is Gone by Hawkins. And Nobody Loves Me But My Mother by B.B. King. Now, let's take a look at the sidemen, because this is where this album really shines. Let's take a look at the first one. Of course, we got Leon Russell doing Hummingbird. Sure, Leon's on piano and conducting. Also on here, we got Joe Walsh from the Eagles playing guitar. I mean, there's a treat right there. Russell Kunkel from the Immediate Family band, a studio musician for years, backed up some of the great LA acts. He's playing drums on here. We've got Jimmy Haskell doing the string and horns arrangements. And this one, again, was great because Leon not only played on it, wrote it as well, and did the conducting. So it was a great job there. How Blue Can You Get? In here we now have Booker Walker on alto sax, Ron Levy, piano. We've got Wilbert Freeman on bass, Sonny Freeman on drums, and Louis Herbert on tenor sax. Few names there that you might recognize. Caledonia, the song. Now, here's where I get a few more names. Jim Price, Ollie Mitchell on trumpet. We got Chuck Finley. It says trombone on here. I only know Chuck Finley is a trumpet player, but maybe he was sitting in on that. Bobby Keys on tenor saxophone. Now, you may remember Bobby Keys. He used to play sax all the time with the Stones. He actually played with another guy on here, Leon Russell, Jim Price, Bobby Keys were all backup players for Joe Cocker's Mad Dog and Englishman tour on that album as well. So we've got Leon Russell, we've got Bobby Keys on here. Jim Price shows up a little later, all of them part of Cocker's old backup band. Let me see who else we had. Klaus Werman, we talked about him before on Fender bass playing. So a lot of great players on here. We've got Sweet 16, who we joined in with now. We've got Ron Levy back on piano. We've got Mel Brown on guitar. Wilbert Freeman back on Fender bass along with Sonny Freeman. Jim Browning on trumpet this time. Now, back to the other one, that Ollie Mitchell, Jim Price, and Chuck Finley. Jim Price, not so much, but Ollie and Chuck Finley, studio musicians, a lot of LA work back in there. Number 6 was Ain't Nobody Home. We got Jim Price back on trumpet and trombone this time. Bobby Keys back. Klaus Werman back. It's just, when I go through there, a lot of the names are showing up a number of times. Hugh McCracken joins him on Why I Sing the Blues, another great guitar player that we may have mentioned before that shows up on a few of these albums. It was a lot of fun because it wasn't just great B.B. King. I mean, him as a singer, him as a guitar player, that would be enough. But we've added some of these sidemen that, to me, are guys I grew up listening to on different albums. They're ones I'm very familiar with, guys that I'm really interested when they're involved in a project. And to find them on this album, again, just a discount album, no information on the outside to give you any clue that you had all these great players on the inside. It was just a treat to open it up and find out, reading the liner notes, just all the great players that were backing him up on here. So it wasn't just B.B. King, it was B.B. King and all these other great musicians putting out a great album, Best of B.B. King. And again, it's on MCA Records, this one. And just on the discount bins. Now, you might be able to enjoy it on the streaming networks. If you're lucky enough, you might be able to pick up a hard copy. The advantage of the hard copies, and I said this on so many shows, is all that information. I would never have known a lot of these players were on there. I may have recognized the sax player and said, boy, that sounds great. I wonder who that was. Or maybe it sounds like this fellow. Nice to be able to go back and see that, you know, it's Bobby Keys in there. It's Jim Price on trumpet. It's Leon Russell doing piano. I mean, they have a distinctive style, but it's always fun to read this and find out who else is playing on there with them. So I always try and go back to the hard copies. Sometimes I've had to go to the streaming network because I just can't find this, you know. And there's so much more out there. I mean, there's just so much. And same with B.B. King, there'd be so much to pick from. This is just one album, but what a gem it was when I found out all the players that were on it. So that's it for Friday. Something to kick off your weekend with. A little bit of blues with B.B. King and some excellent backup players. Gonna make your weekend. Okay, that's it. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Till then, take care. Stay safe. Thanks for stopping by.